The Note 10 Plus really is the best smartphone on the planet right now, and that is because it offers you basically everything that you would ever want from a smartphone. It's also blending the little thin line that already exists between tablets and smartphones. With the S Pen, you can do a lot of work on this phone. You can even edit videos on it. You can connect this to a Windows or Mac computer and have it work as a desktop experience using Samsung DeX, which I actually use quite often. So it really blends the line. It really blurs that line between smartphone and tablet. You're getting a beautiful 6.8-inch panel here, which really, whether you're just watching multimedia, whether you're watching your favorite TV show, whether you're just surfing the web, it's really the best panel on the market for anything that you'd ever want to do with a smartphone. For anything that requires a screen, this screen cannot be beat. So at $1,100, Samsung should have given you everything but the kitchen sink, and they basically do. Snapdragon 855 processor. The RAM is 12 gigabytes, which is absolutely insane. I have the 256 model, but you can get a 512. There is a micro expansion slot on the Note 10 Plus, so that might be a reason why you'd want to pick it up. On the right side, it's completely flush, so Samsung got rid of all the buttons here, and this might be a problem if you are a right-handed user. If you tend to use your phone in the right hand, it's going to take some adjusting to use your pointer finger to turn this on. Now on the bottom, this is where you have all your ports. Unfortunately, again, the headphone jack is gone, but you do have a microphone. You have your USB-C right there. There's your speaker. And just in terms of styling, in terms of design, Samsung's design team really know how to make a smartphone that looks really appealing. On the back of the device, you have the 16 megapixel wide camera with the 12 megapixel standard and the 12 megapixel telephoto, not to mention that time of flight sensor and the flash. Everything is just very symmetrical. Everything just blends and flows absolutely perfectly together, and that's something that Samsung has been able to do for quite some time. The One UI experience from Samsung is something that really was a welcome refresh to all of their lineup that received it. It's just a nice appealing skin on top of Android in my opinion. This does run Android 9, and although Android 10 was just released, I'd expect this to be like on a 6-month cycle. If history repeats itself, Samsung actually did a really nice job of updating last year's models to Android 9. They didn't take as long as they used to, and with some more mainstream initiatives from Google to kind of help Android get updates a lot faster, let's hope that Android 10 is on the horizon. But they give you a lot of nice options that other skins would not. You have the secure folder here, which if you want to keep things, well, secure, you can put photos and whatnot, even applications, and people trolling your phone will not be able to see what it is unless they have your password, which is specific to the secure folder. It's not the same password that you use to get into your device. Edge lighting is a really cool way just to see what your notifications are, because there is not a notification light. That's something I really wish manufacturers would bring back. I like that little notification LED personally. Let me know down in the comments below. But overall, guys, I think they just did a nice job, and they did a really nice way to make a phone a little bit more manageable in one hand. As you can see here, One UI, what it does, it kind of brings all your options down into the manageable thumb area, so you don't really have to reach. All you have to do is kind of swipe right from the corner. And that's a really nice way to make things just a little bit more manageable. A 6.8-inch phone is definitely not the easiest thing in the world to manage, especially when you have to deal with everyday life, when you have to deal with commuting on public transportation. Not everyone is aware around you. Not everyone is mindful that you might have a large device in your hand, and if they knock you, it's probably going to fall out. So this way, you can have that kung fu grip without any problems at all. Now, Samsung's really done a good job lately. This is the unlocked model, and they've done a nice job of kind of eliminating all the extra bloatware. They do include some apps, and there are some duplicate apps. That's really to be expected in the Android ecosystem right now, but thankfully you can disable a lot of these apps if you don't want to use them. The camera really is where this shines, and you can get some really great shots on this camera. You do have that 16 megapixel wide lens, 12 megapixel regular, and 12 megapixel telephoto, and they do a really nice job. And you can also have it set up so that it can give you sort of cues to give you that best shot. So if you are trying to line up that landscape, you can really line this up and it'll tell you that you're doing a good job and this is the best possible shot that you can get. So again, it relies a lot on AI, it relies a lot on software just to kind of help you get that really good shot. Live Focus does a nice job. You can add some different effects. You can do whatever you need to do. Really, we're in the era now where flagship camera specs, we're really just nitpicking on certain things. No one camera is going to be the best at every single thing, at least not right now, but Samsung does a really good job. If you have great sunlight As with any flagship camera, you're going to get some really awesome shots. At night, the camera does struggle a little bit, especially when compared to Google's night sight, but they're doing a decent job. And again, it's really just nitpicking at this point, trying to find those minute details that might be better on one camera over the other. But if you want an overall great shooter, the Samsung Galaxy Note Plus is the phone for you. Just take a look at these photo samples. I think the Note 10 Plus does an excellent job, and it's a very pleasing, very satisfying camera with so many tricks up its sleeve. You can add filters, you can do live focus, you can have super slow-mo, super steady shot is absolutely amazing. It really does a nice job. You kind of think you're using a gimbal when you're not.
Glitch feature is actually super cool. Makes you kind of think that you're in some matrix of some sort. I like it.
But really, at this point, we're getting to the point where smartphone cameras are just excellent, and the Note 10 Plus is not going to disappoint you. If you pick up this phone, I guarantee you're going to get some really, really great shots. And even if you use the Pro mode, I'm not really huge on the Pro mode myself, but if you use Pro mode, you get a ton of options here that you can change, and you can really take your time and take a really excellent shot if you know what you're doing. But I think for most of us, we're pretty much auto every day or a day. Let me know down in the comments below if you're an auto shooter or if you're a pro shooter. The next thing I just want to show you is multimedia. So a lot of you might wonder, does this little hole punch get in the way? How are the speakers? Now I have Dolby Atmos turned on. Just to show you, Dolby Atmos is turned on, and I usually leave that on all the time. It just gives you a little bit better experience, a little bit richer tones, etc., etc. If you really think that hole punch gets in the way, you can watch your multimedia with the blacked out bars, but we always like to zoom in. It just gives us a better experience. And as you can see there, it kind of just looks like a cigarette burn on old movies. Not really a big deal. In terms of sound, you do have a bottom firing speaker and the top firing speaker, which is really housed inside of a tiny little slit here. But on the top, this is an air chamber that lets out the air from the speaker. And in general, it does a really nice job. It just means that you're never really going to be able to cover up both of these speakers and get no sound. At high volumes, this does not distort. It's just an overall clean, crisp experience.
On my Pixel 3 XL, I got Android 10 running. This is the official release, was just released yesterday, and already there's a lot
This is with both speakers covered.
make a big difference on this phone. So I'm going to go over my favorite new things in Android 10, improvements in Android 10, and especially if you use a lot of Wi-Fi hotspots, if you connect to a lot of Wi-Fi in coffee shops or wherever you might be, if you travel a lot, there's a great feature here that no one's really talking about, and I'm going to let you know what it is. So let's just go over my favorite things about Android 10 running on the Google Pixel 3 XL.
So the sound difference between Dolby Atmos and just regular is not super huge. It just makes a slight difference. So speakers, even though I really would like Samsung to just give us front firing speakers, maybe in the future they will, but I have no qualms, no complaints about these speakers whatsoever. Wireless charging, you get fast wireless charging on this. You also get 25-watt charger in the box. You do have a 45-watt charger option available, and why I just slowed down, I really think they should have included it. At $1,200, I think even if you got the 512 model, they should have just given you the 45-watt charger in the box. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. But other than that, it charges within an hour. Fast wireless charging is awesome. You come home, you just put it on your charger, and you're good to go. Samsung gives you really the best user experience in my opinion. You can add video wallpapers. Like I was at the park the other day and there was this nice waterfall. I took a video of it and I put it on my home screen as a video wallpaper. So Samsung really knows how to make the user experience just something awesome, something more enjoyable, something more customizable than say another manufacturer where you can just put a still image on your lock screen. So Samsung, well done for giving us everything, and that's generally what this Note 10 is about. They give you everything that you could ever want. The S Pen is something whether you use once a week, once a month, never. It's here when you need it, and that's always a plus when you have a device, when you're going to keep a device for a long time. And in terms of technology, a long time could be 2 years, 3 years, even 1 year. You want to enjoy it, and the times that you would need an S Pen, you really think that you wouldn't, but you actually do. I was somewhere the other day and I had to jot down a note really quickly. Nobody had a pen, and I realized I got a Note 10 with a pen. I just pulled it out, wrote on the screen, saved that memo, and the memos now, when you save those notes, they are searchable. So if you go into your Finder and you just type in what you think you remember about that day, I think I remember something about milk, it'll show me my note. You can open it up, and my note to myself was buy milk. So again, I think this is super awesome, guys. I think this is something that we needed in terms of making the S Pen even more functional. Being able to search and categorize and archive your notes is something that should have been here in the first place, but better late than never to the party. Smart Select means that you can select anything on your screen. If you're surfing the web, wherever you are, you can just quickly select what you want to select. You can doodle on top of it. You can do whatever you need to do, and you can share it quickly. So for those of you that like to send a lot of memes, for those of you that like to just send a lot of jokes to people, or you surf the web and you find something that's super interesting, you don't have to screenshot it, then crop it, do this and that. This makes it really, really easy and really fast, and actually really fun if you take my word for it. Next thing you can do is pretty much the same thing. If you do screen write, it'll take a screenshot of whatever's on your screen, and then you can kind of just like circle something to say, look at the weather, this is absolutely crazy. Share it, and then do what you need to do. Again, the whole point is it's super easy, super fun to do. Live message is also a lot of fun too, guys. You can either take a quick photo, or you can do something from your gallery, or just have a plain color. Let me just take a picture of my desk here and just show you what it's about. It'll actually animate a message. So if I write hello YouTube, and then press play, and you can mess around with these colors and the animations. Once you're done with it, you can attach this to a SMS, you can attach it to WhatsApp, you can just share it on the gram, you can do whatever you need to do. And again, the whole point is it's ease of use, it's fast, it's fun, and that's really the whole point of this S Pen. I have not even tried to use the air gestures. That's just something I'm not going to be doing. I don't see anybody really doing that in everyday life, unless maybe you're trying to take a selfie. Whether or not you're a salesman, whether or not you're being really productive, whether you're just being a goofball and having fun, that's the whole point when you spend $1,200. I want to have fun with a device if I spend $1,200. It's just an overall pleasure to use. The battery life is really good. There's a 4,300 milliamp hour battery in here, which is absolutely huge, but you are pushing a lot of pixels. It's a 1440 panel. It's a super dynamic AMOLED panel, 6.8 inches, so it does take a lot of battery. You would assume that the battery life wouldn't be that great, but I have to tell you, even with heavy usage, I always made it towards the end of the day on LTE with Bluetooth turned on, with location services turned on, and on light days, a day and a half to 2 is what I made it through. I was on vacation for the weekend, I went away, and I didn't even charge it the whole weekend just because I was not being beast mode on my phone. I was actually enjoying the day, enjoying life, enjoying where I was at. So really, battery life is no concern with this. Lastly, I just want to talk about the under the glass fingerprint scanner. It does work well, and it is speeding up, but it's just not as fast as a capacitive scanner from previous generations, but it does a good job, and it seems to be getting faster and faster as the time goes by. It just learns a little bit more about my fingers, and the best way to do this is register the same finger multiple times. This way it gets faster and faster. You just kind of know where to place your finger these days. It's something that took me about a day to get used to. It's something that took me a day to kind of figure out this is exactly where I need to place my finger without even thinking about it. But if you do turn on the screen, you get a nice little animation there that lets you know where to put it. The only negative that I have on this phone is I really wish they would have kept the headphone jack. It's such a large device. I think if they wanted to, they could have engineered it. They could have made it fit in here, and it's just something that the Note lineup has always been about. It's always been the phone that's given you everything, that's even included some experimental features, that's even included some features that would make its way down to the S line. But now it turns out it looks like the Note lineup is really the S line with an S Pen, and that's absolutely fine, but it is not the Note of years past. It's just a little bit different. Give people what they want and you'll sell more phones. And that's what it comes down to with the Note 10 Plus. No doubt they're going to sell a ton of these phones. I've already seen a bunch out in the wild. So if you're looking for a great phone, look no further. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I always appreciate you watching. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.